That was a pretty good recap. You must have took everything.
I was
All right.
looking at my notes and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yep. Does any of the instructors have anything before we get started? Instructor Nate.
No, not at this point.
All right. Instructor said, I know you're working. I'm not sure if you can speak, but if you have anything.
No, sir. Nothing to add.
Perfect. Instructor Ghost, you got anything? Glad to see you here.
No, sir. Glad to be here, brother. Peace, family.
Peace. All right, perfect. Well, tonight's chakra is the heart chakra, also called the Anahata Chakra, Anahata. Anahata. In Sanskrit, that means unstruck or unhurt. I wish Paul was here, but he just actually gave us some news that his mother-in-law was being rushed to the hospital, so he actually just texted me that he couldn't be here. Can you is it low, Instructor Arku? Can you not hear?
No, you're not low. I just got it turned down low. There's some background noise.
You said what?
Okay. So yeah, but tonight is the heart chakra, and I'm sure he would have enjoyed this, so hopefully he can catch it on the recording. And definitely sending him love and healing energy, dealing with his situation. But so yeah, tonight, like we said, is the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is actually the bridge between the lower three chakras and the upper three. So we talked about the lower three already, which was the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So in layman's terms, that'll be your lower self, which is your physicality, your emotions, and the ego. And then the heart is the bridge to the upper chakras. So it's 7. And the heart chakra is actually the 4th chakra. So it directly lies in between the lower 3 and the upper 3. The symbol of the heart chakra, or the Anahata Chakra, is a 12-petaled lotus. And inside of the 12-petaled lotus is a 6-pointed triangle. So, a 6-pointed star, which is 2 triangles joined together, a pointed up triangle and a triangle that's pointed down. The lotus flower is important, and it's actually, and all of the chakras have some pictorial representation of a lotus flower with, a certain number of petals. But I waited to the heart chakra to actually talk about these lotus flowers, because it's actually very interesting. And like I said, this one is a 12-petal lotus. So the lotus flower is actually a flower that is rooted in muddy waters. But the lotus itself actually blooms above the water. The mud is symbolic of our personal attachments and desires. And the lotus flower is also a metaphor for our spiritual movement through the chakra system. So the lotus is rooted at the base of our spine and at the root chakra, and it grows up through the spine to peak at the crown chakra, which is actually represented by a 1,000 petal lotus flower. So we had 12 right now, but the crown chakra is a 1,000 petal lotus. And Buddha also has a lotus sutra. And in the lotus sutra, he said the lotus flower, which can grow out of the mud, cannot be tainted by the mud, but without the mud, there can be no lotus. So I thought that was pretty deep and actually right on point with what we are discussing. Anybody have any questions or comments so far?
Yes, can you repeat that quote from the Buddha again?
Yep. He said the lotus flower which grows out of the mud cannot be tainted by it. But without the mud, there can be no lotus. So it's kind of representative of our existence on this three-dimensional plane. And in the Bible, they have a quote that says, "Be in the world, but not of the world." It's basically the same thing. Like we're in this 3D, 4D construct, but yet we have to make it through untainted by this three-dimensional construct. But yet we need this, construct to be able to evolve spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I think the lotus itself is a perfect representation, and it is, like I said, it's in every of the chakras. They all have some type of lotus with a certain number of petals. So the 12 petals of the lotus in the Anahata Chakra actually represent what is called the 12 vrittis, and that's VRITTIS, and that those are the divine qualities of the heart. So the 12 are bliss, peace, harmony, love, understanding, empathy, clarity, purity, unity, compassion, kindness, and forgiveness. So if you look at those 12 vrittis or 12 divine attributes or qualities, you'll see some type of commonality or similarity starting to, evolve or blossom up out of this.
Can you please repeat the 12?
Oh yeah, for sure I was.
Thank you.
Bliss, peace, harmony, love, understanding, empathy, clarity, purity, unity, compassion, kindness, and forgiveness.
Can somebody drop them in the chat? I missed the first few. I don't want you to have to read them again.
Oh yeah, I mean I can always share them too. It's,
All right, thank you.
no big deal. Yeah, no problem. Anybody else have any questions or comments so far? And I was gonna say, I'm sure Raynell could probably come up with a quick rap with all of those 12 attributes to help everybody memorize them. She has those type of skills.
It's funny.
All right. So no questions or
And
comments.
that word was spelled VIRTTIES, you say? Vertes?
VRITTIS.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. Moving on. If nobody has any questions or comments, so we talked about the lotus with the 12 petals. So inside of the lotus, we said it's a 6-pointed star, and that star is actually 2 interlocked triangles. So we have an upward triangle and a downward triangle. the upward triangle represents the masculine, and in Hindu, it would be the god Shiva, which is the masculine god, and the downward triangle represents the feminine, and that would be Shakti. And what's actually interesting is that normally Shakti is considered like, a warring god, but that is only representative at the base level or the root level. Once you get to the heart chakra or the Anahata Chakra, Shakti is represented. Shakti is represented as a meditative being cloaked in white garb. So it's kind of like the evolution or the evolved version of Shakti at the Anahata level. The element of the heart chakra is air, and that's associated with lightness, openness, and movement. Air is also associated with the heart because it is the connection of all things. So if you look at all animals, all humans, I guess bugs for that matter, whatever it is, whatever the living entity is, we're all connected through air. Like, who's to say where my air stops and where the next thing air starts? Like, we're all connected via the air. And you'll also see that this chakra is associated with the lungs as well, which also is inclusive of air or breath or prana or chi or ki, all of those words, but it's just about that connectedness that we all share, this planet, this plane called Earth, and we're all connected by the air that we breathe, right? Without air, everything is gone. So it's not seen, but it's very, very powerful. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I was just thinking it's kind of crazy that you said that, because chief instructor always said that when you get really good in combat, you can actually see the air moving in front of people's blows. So there's that connectiveness right there as well, like in combat even. Like, that's just beautiful and brilliant.
Wow. Yeah, that's very powerful. I don't think we're at that level yet, but definitely something to aspire to. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Could you spell the god that goes with masculine and feminine? Shiva and
Yep.
Shakti? If I said it right.
Yep. So Shiva is Shiva, and Shakti is Shakti.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, and that's a powerful statement that you made, and it also brings me to my next point that when balance is attained via the masculine and feminine, or the upper and the lower, or whatever we want to call it, it is a type of union or balance. And another word that we have for that, especially in the discipline, we often talk about it a lot, is relationship. Like, this is the center of relationship. And, I know that we've all, or the people who have been on the calls with our Grand Master, he often talks about relationship. And, most people think of relationship as just between two people, but relationship is literally the foundation of our life. And most often we don't think about the relationship between us and our surroundings. And to give a small example, if you look at, just say you eat a salad, right? So you only think about you and the ingredients of the salad. But in order to make that salad, a lot of processes had to happen. So we needed the sunlight, we needed the rain, we needed the soil, we needed the farmer, we needed the animals which provided the manure for the salad to be made. We needed the petroleum that allowed the gas to be fueled in the car in order to take the salad from wherever it was picked to the store. So just in that very small example, you'll see that it's a lot of interconnected pieces that had to happen in order to take, a blank soil and grow the vegetables that you use just to eat a salad. So if you look at things that way, you'll start to see that relationship and that interconnectedness between everything around you. Like what all had to happen for whatever to be, manifest at this point. So whatever, anything that's in existence started as an idea, and from idea to manifestation, it was a long line of interconnected processes, and those processes are what we call a relationship. Anybody have any questions or comments so far? So we got a silent group tonight. So also in the vein of relationship, somebody had to be related in order for you to exist on planet Earth. So literally our beginning starts with relationship. And we actually had a in-depth discussion in the dojo one time, but basically just about the odds of you being born, period, are 1 in 700 trillion. And we went through all of the possibilities that could have happened, which would result in you not being here. So just imagine if your father got a flat tire the day he met your mother. Like you wouldn't be here. Or, if he got stopped at a red light and, they didn't cross paths that day or anything. Like what if he slipped and fell and hurt his knee? It would have been a small minor inconvenience, but that inconvenience could have been the difference between you being incarnate on earth and you not being incarnate on earth. So that goes to show the very vital balance of phenomena that happens in the world that resulted in you being here. So in that, with those odds of 1 in 700 trillion, is to me a means for celebration, because you easily could have not been here. And so just the simple fact that you're alive on earth is really against all odds. Somebody got a question or comment?
That shows the significance of life too, bro. Like we talked about before. While we can't take it for granted, it's the statistical impossibility of us even being here that evidences the divinity and the call on us. So, to your point, that's just to fertilize the seed. That's before we get into the 40 weeks of gestation and, you know, all the years that you are solely dependent on your parents before you start to, you know, have that falling, that accidents in your young age, you know, 10, 11 years old, before you start driving, the near car accident, and the rest that goes into life. So that also is supported by that Bible verse. You know, if we have faith that the size of a mustard seed, which is approximately the same size of the, you know, monthly, the moon cycle, uh, the scenario, you know, with that faith that got us to the planet, we can move the mountain. So it really cannot be underscored, even though it's so often taken for granted.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it definitely doesn't underscore the fact that we're here at the same time. Like that just is again how powerful that relationship is, that we all decided to come and embark on a collective mission to raise the vibration and the frequency of the planet and usher in whatever that needs to be ushered in at this point. You know, I'm not sure what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something big and it's something powerful, and it's something that we will be a pivotal and integral part of ushering in.
The age of Aquarius, and yesterday being the Great Reset. Like, you know,
Sure.
it's totally impossible. So, and extremely significant. Words don't do it justice. That's for us, you know, it's time for us to put our collective actions at play and will together that which we're working on, brother. And so salute to you, man, for your studies and giving us the tools to be on purpose and power field right now in this time, bro. So keep moving, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Definitely. Like we all play our part, and somebody told me I was the scientist, so I gotta honor that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Real quick, I just wanted to go back to that balance piece, where the the heart chakra is that bridge where the upper three and the lower three are meeting as one, and it said that it then has 6 qualities in one. And when what comes to mind is that balance of that feminine and masculine, which is a representation of balance in relationship. So just wanted to share that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm like outside of yin and yang, I couldn't think of a better symbol to represent balance.
Right.
So, that's definitely a great observation. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
And yes,
Questions or comments?
Makes me think about the
uh,
Merkaba too, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. Merkaba is just a 3D version of the same thing. Just two interlocking pyramids instead of triangles.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I said two, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. You
yeah,
said
two.
too.
Yeah. All right, Nishani, go ahead.
I was just going to comment with what we were talking about, the balance and the relationship, because we learned about exchange yesterday, or at least I learned about exchange yesterday. We finally kind of ran through it yesterday, and it was slow motion. We had to, strike, maneuver, pause, strike, and it helped a lot when Instructor Ghost and Instructor Cedric, they turned it around, and it was kind of like, I think Instructor Ghost, in fact, kind of like moved with us to show us that once I move, you move. It almost has to work in a connection. You can't start speaking until the other person stops, kind of like dancing. So we had a pretty awesome discussion about that, about how to speak the language of the person who's in front of you, and that goes back to today. So it kind of goes great with the lesson that we're learning today about the heart chakra, just about that balance and finding that no matter who's in front of you, finding that relationship and connecting with that particular relationship.
Yeah, excellent. And this is also, or in line with what you said, um, in that the heart chakra is now transcending above the solar plexus chakra, which is ego. So, you know, how we approach exchange or kumite when we bow, instead of it being a demonstration of my skill versus your skill, we literally bow, and we bow with the heart chakra open, and we are the phrase, show me yourself. Like, show me you, show me who you are. And in that, it doesn't allow ego to be present in the exchange. Because a lot of times, you know, like, you aren't necessarily seasoned in exchange, but when you start doing it more and more, you'll see, like, sometimes ego may creep in. So if somebody hits you harder than you want them to, or if they get a blow in that you didn't expect, you might speed up. And the speed up is just the interjection or intersection of ego into the exchange. So it's like, you know, I don't want to look bad, I want to do it right. Like, all of that type of stuff is now leaving the heart chakra and going down to that solar plexus, to that ego, to that willpower. And, you know, it's all a part of the process. We all been through it. So I'm glad you got a chance to experience that firsthand yesterday with the introduction of exchange. Excellent. Anybody else, questions or comments?
Yeah, I noticed like when I first came into the practice and the discipline, I kind of saw exchange as, like you said, a moment to like almost like a fighting habit. And it was kind of confusing to me how people kind of went into it almost like with happiness, you know, you saying like people bow and we go into it with love, and it's definitely a change of mindset when you go into it when you really appreciate the different styles and everything. So it's cool that you said that.
For sure. And I'm actually glad that you brought up exchange, because it is the perfect representation of the heart chakra in action. And, you know, I've been to many different martial arts, you know, studios, dojos, all over, you know, all over the US basically, and in Canada as well. And I've never seen any other art do what we do in exchange. Like, everything that, you know, you see elsewhere is sparring, fighting, and it's all based out of ego. It's like, who's the fastest, who has the best skill, you know, who can do the best technique. But exchange is uniquely different in that you allow your opponent to express themselves. It's not about, are you faster, are you stronger, do you have the best skill, the best technique. It's literally, you express, I express. So it's really like a conversation. And in that conversation, it affords you a luxury that sparring or fighting elsewhere doesn't. And it allows you to um, allow the other person to express and see how you deal with their expression. So if I was just going to spar with somebody and I was faster, bigger, stronger than the person, then my skill would overpower their skill, and I would never learn how to move on a person who expresses themselves in that way. But because I'm not entering into this exchange with ego, I allow the other person to express themselves. And in their expression, it teaches me how to move on that particular person, on that particular blow, on that particular move, on that particular interval. And now I elevate my skill. It's not just a demonstration of what I already know, but is now a learning opportunity. And that is uniquely Kempo. It's not found anywhere else. It's not, you won't go anywhere else in exchange. They'll say, let's spar, let's whatever, hit the bags, but it won't be exchange. Oh yeah, that's an excellent point. Anybody else with questions or comments?
I have something. So when you speak upon, everybody speaks upon how this discipline within our collective is different than anywhere else. This is absolutely true because I've spoken to people who say, "Oh yeah, I have a black belt and I've had it for this long," and I'm like, "Well, my instructor, some of them, it's taken them 10, 15 years to acquire, and they look at me like I'm crazy when I say it, and in my head, I'm looking at them like, no, you're crazy. Maybe you should come to the dojo, get on the floor and show them what your 3 years acquiring a black belt looks like versus this 10, 15 years with this metaphysical and philosophical education behind it goes. Let's see how that works for you on our floor. So we are definitely the difference. And I'm happy to be here because I wouldn't want to be somewhere where it took 3 years to get there. So
Right.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so a lot of those, I'm not sure what that was, but a lot of those 3-year black belts and things like that are normally about money. It's just a contract to say, sign up at the beginning, you pay this amount of money, and in 3 years you'll have a black belt. And because they, never really have to use it, who's to tell them that they aren't a black belt? So, like, traditionally, when other people would come to our dojo with black belts on, they would have to fight the green belts. And if they so happen to get past a green belt, they'll never get past the purple belt. Purple belt is literally our vanguard. Like, the purple belt is that bridge between the lower belts and the upper belts. So if they get past the green, they'll never get past the purple belt. And it's because we actually have, real combat application coupled with the knowledge and philosophy, like you said. And the thing is that, in the 3-year black belt or even the 5-year black belt, you can never substitute experience. So they can give you all of the knowledge and, every technique, but the difference between us and them is real life application and experience. So, our grandmaster fought in Vietnam, all of this, had countless battles. So everything that we've been given is battle tested and proven in real time, real combat, life or death situations. So it's just totally distinctly different in that sense as well. And, I've talked to countless people, old students who said this art has literally saved my life. And so, probably one of the most intense stories that I heard was somebody got shot at. And because he was in the discipline, he was connected to the movement. I'm not going to say that he dodged the bullet, but he put himself in such a way that he didn't get shot based on his ability to maneuver. So, totally 100% applicable. Sweet. Anybody else questions or comments?
Yeah, and I noticed when I was at the other dojo, I was getting tested more on makatas and like the type of kicks we were doing, and it speaks to how y'all always say we don't practice technique, we do principles. So that's another difference too. A lot of other places they'll just test you on the skills that you learn and solely just that, and that's how you go up the ranks. Regards to us, we got a whole 8 hour test just to break into the color belt system. So it's a big difference.
Exactly. And that's and one last piece. I don't want to belabor it, but a lot of other styles, they don't have any contact. So it's like, how y'all get hit at the beginning of class. Like I was in Canada one time, and at this time, because I started training when I was in 6th grade. So I was either in 6th or 7th grade at the time, so I was already a Kempo student. And I went, and they had a Okinawan karate where I was staying at in Canada. So I was like, man, I want to go check it out. And the only experience that I had with martial arts was Kempo. And so, I'm expecting it to be like that. And then when I went there, they were actually having a belt test. And the lady, she lined up, and then it was probably 4 people on each side, so 8 people total. And she was in the middle, and they lined up like in front of her, and I thought they was about to strike her, but they punched at her and it stopped. They didn't actually hit her. And I was like, wow, like these are grown people, transcending the ranks, and they don't even make contact. So it's like, really, the difference is theory versus application, or real life practicality. So anybody can have good techniques, but as Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. So it's a whole different ball game when you actually are in the fire and you're getting hit versus looking sweet. Anybody else, questions or comments? All right, moving on. So as the solar plexus chakra is associated with willpower, as the Swavistana chakra is associated with emotions, and the Muladhara chakra is associated with survival. This particular chakra is associated with love, which makes sense. The heart chakra manifests itself as love, and is love for your family, your friends, and everything around you that you love, everything that you are interconnected with and related to. It's all about love. That's what it's about.
Instructor, can you give me the Hindu name again, please?
For the chakra,
Yes, for the heart chakra. Can you spell it?
Anahata, Anahata, and that's Sanskrit.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, and it means unstruck. That's what it like translates over into. And and actually, what's deep too is that meaning. Like, I'm not sure if anybody was wondering about that. Like, why would it be called unstruck? Like, what does that, does that make sense? And what it literally translates over into is the sound that permeates the entire universe. And that sound is literally created not by 2 things interacting with each other. So, like, in order to make a sound with hands, you have to clap both hands, right? So they'll be struck because it's 2 distinct things that are interacting with one another, right? And loosely stated, violently. Like, I'm clapping hands. Like it's a force, right? Which would be the solar plexus chakra. Like it's two things that are connected. But unstruck is the sound that is made without that, without the interaction of two things, making contact. And as we know, in meditation, you silence self, or what we consider self, that, that inner voice in your mind. And if you look up the sound that is made by Earth, right? Because Earth also contracts and expands, and when it does, it produces a sound. And guess what that sound is? It's the
Okay.
Om. Okay. Om.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's the sound Om. Om. So it's my theory that the people who originally made these discoveries quieted themselves so much that they were able to hear the sound that permeates existence. And this is another thing too, is that if a sound is always being made and there's never any silence in between, you will really just drown it out, because it is no deviation. So it's just always present, and that same sound is always present, via the earth. But because so much noise, and because we have so much noise in our minds, we never hear it, we never tap in, it's inaudible to us. And technically it is inaudible literally, because we talked about last week, you can only hear between 20,000 and 20 hertz, but the frequency of earth is 7.83 hertz, which is called the Schumann resonance. So it's literally inaudible. So just imagine how quiet you have to be inside of self to be able to tap in and hear that sound that the earth produces. So that's my theory on the meaning of unstruck. Anybody
That,
questions
that
with that?
that's deep.
Who said that? I couldn't see.
It was Rafa. It's that's just deep. That's real deep. That is deep, deep, deep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking, I read this study about, I just can't remember, I think it was Sweden, or Russia. They have a room that's supposed to be so quiet that they have almost like a soundproof room where they have eliminated any possibility of any kind of sound penetration, and they left somebody there for, they were trying to see how long someone could be there. And I can see how if you were not ready, and your mind, the chakras, like thinking about energy and your frequency, and if you're not ready for, because that person went crazy and they couldn't figure out, and he just lost it. After that, he just had to be heavily medicated, completely sedated, and he just never really recovered. I'll try to find it if I can, but it was very fascinating to me. But I was just thinking about it because we were talking about how, and that was very deep. But if you're not ready and you're not in a position, if it's forced, I could see how that could kind of drive someone absolutely insane, just by experiencing something like that that they don't even know exists. So that was my thought.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I definitely know what you are talking about or referring to. And in that particular room is so silent that you can hear your own blood flowing. That's how silent that room is. So like you said, if you aren't ready, if you aren't prepared, they say most people can only last about 2 minutes in a room like that because it's too quiet, it's eerie, and we aren't used to that type of silence. But us as experienced martial artists and meditators, I think we can handle it. Anybody else questions or comments?
Yeah, it's just crazy because it speaks to why I really want to travel too, because there's so much technology around us, and you can really hear the waves, and like you can hear waves coming from technology sometimes. So often I wonder, like, man, what would even my sleep be like if I just had no technology in my room, or technology just wasn't as present in areas where I rest or where I do meditate and study. So it's just crazy, man.
Oh yeah, and that is a great, observation as well. Because remember, at the root, we are electro, mechanical, chemical beings, and so a lot of this technology has been introduced, and we are the test subjects. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, it went through 20 years of lab testing. It's like, all right, we developed this, and then we release it, and we are now the test subjects for the long-term effects of the technology. So all of these computers and laptops and cell phones and all of that, like, you know who knows what the effects are going to be in the next 30 years, or like that. So it's definitely something to think about. Anybody else questions or comments?
It's funny because we see it now, depression, anxiety,
Mm.
very basic mental illnesses, but there's some roots in how we've been conditioned to be attached to devices, to things that are very artificial in its nature, and how we're entirely reliant on them to survive. So yeah, I see mental illness, and I see a lot of technology being kind of not the only reason, of course, but definitely a factor. So yeah, you're right. The future would look very interesting if we keep on this path.
For sure, technology and social media. So like, also the people who develop the games at the casinos, like the games, like the slot machines and stuff like that, that of course they want you to stay there as long as possible, because the longer you stay, the more money you play and the more money they make off of you. And so the same people who develop those games, they also develop the social media. So it's like, I even find myself like, you know, I exit out, I do something, and then like without thinking, like automatically just click right back on the app, and it's like, why is that? And it's probably because they have implemented those things that make the mind automatically go to it without thinking about it. Like, it's definitely um, you know loosely stated addiction, but on society as a whole, like if everybody in society had, or just about everybody in society had an addiction to a drug, they would like have all type of programs and put all type of money towards it to help the population. But because people are addicted to social media, it's just kind of like swept under the rug. It's not, or technology and social media period, but it's not looked at as such. So, yeah, definitely interesting stuff. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I was just slightly different with you on how they look at it, instructor.
Mm-hmm.
They know exactly what it is, and they
Mm.
leverage it to the benefit of social control and manipulation. There's that addiction is tied to the gratification that we get from the posts that we put up, the comments, and things of that nature. So our Telegram chat is my only social media outlet, but I definitely have a little addiction to it, to read the post and to put something up and wait on commentary on it. I definitely feel it, but the whole overall point is that they leverage it on purpose, so that they can do the mass manipulation,
For sure.
and the depression and suicide and all of that is a part of it. The consumerism, the list goes on.
Oh yeah, I definitely 100% agree with you. Yeah.
To your point, brother. Now take that, you, a mature adult male, right? You're a man, a grown up, and now put it in the hands of a child. And how do they deal with that same addiction?
Exactly.
So it's a problem. It's definitely a problem.
To say the least.
Yes. Yeah, I can see it, and it hasn't even, I guess, blossomed to its full extent, not even close yet. And again, cool, to your point, it is absolutely by design, because there's already studies about the effects on kids, the addictive effects on kids that it has.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I see it all day long. You can't detach them from that phone.
Oh yeah.
Anybody else with questions or comments?
Yeah, and I just wonder about how it would be that fast from technology. I mean, you have people like Henry Thoreau, who lived in the woods in the 1800s, and he had major epiphanies, and he wrote a whole book on it. So imagine if somebody did that now, 200 years later, the epiphanies and the realizations you would have would be just massive if you would just sat in the woods with no technology or nothing.
Right. Yep.
It's
Definitely
akin to
agree.
meditation. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Exactly. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's akin to meditation. You are there
Yeah.
with you.
hmm That's how the Buddha attained enlightenment. He sat under the Bodhi tree. 7 days
Right.
later, he was enlightened. So again, relationship. He connected with the environment, with nature, and enlightenment came of that. All right.
When Siddhartha was born, when Buddha was born, he took 3 steps on the lotus flower. As soon as he was born, is how the story goes. Don't quote me on this, but he took 3 steps, lifted his finger, and said, "This is my last journey. This will be my last journey," something to that effect, because he, even as a newborn baby, literally as she gave birth, said those words, and that's when his mom, knew that there was something more to this newborn baby, because he took steps on lotus flowers. So I just remembered that while we're talking about the lotus flower and heart chakra.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even before he was born, it was prophesied that he would either be a great king or an enlightened being. So we all know what he chose, or what chose him, should we say? All right. The heart chakra governs the heart, obviously. The thymus glands, the lungs, because remember we talked about the air and the breath. So the lungs, which is the respiratory system, and then it also governs the circulatory system, i.e. the heart pumping blood around the body. And then it corresponds with the arms. So, we use our arms to hug one another, to embrace. And if you look at the meridians, the entire heart meridian is in the arm. So it goes, from the right in the armpit, that's the first heart meridian, and it goes all the way down into the finger. It ends at the finger. So the heart meridian is only in the arm. That's it. It's nowhere else in the body. This is a good one too, and you guys probably can recognize it. But does anybody know what foods are associated with the heart chakra?
Hearty foods. Like tomatoes or something. I don't know.
It's I think it's green foods. So
Yeah, great.
vegetables.
Yeah, not chili.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, no, that's correct. The foods that are associated with it are leafy green vegetables. And what's deep about vegetables is that they literally represent the union of the as above, so below, because they take the sunlight and the rain and mix with the soil, which is the below or below ground, and they produce the leafy green vegetables. So it's literally a union of the heaven and earth to produce the vegetables. So that's another way to look at, why leafy greens are associated with the heart chakra. They take those minerals and everything from the soil and the sunlight to, create the process of photosynthesis, and from that produces vegetables. So in that same vein, the color of this chakra is green, and green is the energy of love and transformation. It allows you to transform your ego and the needs of the lower chakras, and open up to love. The heart chakra is the seat of compassion, and not only compassion for others, but compassion for you as well. The frequency is 639 hertz. The heart chakra deals with balance, which obviously the as above, so below, love, and relationship, as we talked about. So a blocked heart chakra looks like being antisocial, withdrawn, cold, critical, judgmental, isolated, fear of relationships, lack of empathy, and narcissism. So if you look at those attributes, like especially like, judgment, being critical, narcissist, those things are about separating yourself from another. So in order for you to judge something, you have to be separate from the thing that you're judging. So it's literally the opposite of being related, right? Because I'm outside of whatever I'm judging. So I'm not connected with that thing. That thing over there is different from me. So that's how I'm able to judge whatever it is. So that's a blocked heart chakra. Overactive heart chakra, and this, a lot of people, and probably including myself, can find themselves in this particular set of attributes. But this is an overactive heart chakra, and it manifests as codependency, poor boundaries, demanding, clingy, jealousy, overly sacrificing. People displaying these characteristics tend to continually give to others and overextend themselves with little regard for their own well-being. So that's an overactive heart chakra. You're giving too much of yourself and not leaving anything left over for you. And the balanced heart chakra is being open to love but remembering that in order to love and care for another, you must love and care for yourself first. The heart chakra is the center of your deepest bonds with other beings. When your heart chakra is balanced, it gives you the ability to recognize that we are all interconnected. All right, that's all I had. Anybody have any questions or comments? Otherwise, we're gonna go down the list. We might start from the middle this time since we started from the bottom last time, and it'll be right in line with the heart chakra.
I'm gonna say something. When you said that if it's balanced, you're open to love, and it made me think about, when you somebody when you can't love anybody if you don't love yourself first. You don't know how to love you. How are you going to cater to nurture anybody else or anything else around you? So that speaks so many volumes on so many different levels. Because I've said that to people before, like you continuously doing, 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 but where do you lie? And I know I do that myself. I do it myself so much. Like over the course of what was it, that week that I wasn't in the dojo, I was continuously doing for my family, the house, and everything else, and I wasn't taking care of me, meeting those needs, putting me first. And it's not to diminish the love that I have for anybody else or anything else. But if I don't love me and take care of me, I can't do it for anybody else. I'm gonna shut down somewhere in there.
Mm.
And I get all of it, all of it.
Oh yeah, I definitely know that you can relate to it, and yeah, definitely, I can relate to it too. So as we say, a mirror cannot see itself. So I'm your reflection, you my reflection, and I can see that we all have some balancing to do at some point.
If you don't love yourself, ultimately in the end you go after self-destruction.
Mm.
Wow.
When you go after self-destruction too, it makes it easy to take other people down. That's how you die on the inside. At that point, death is just waiting to catch up to you physically.
Mm. Yeah, definitely deep stuff. Like a lot of people, they die at 25 and are buried at 75. So the inquiry is what was the cause of death? That's rhetorical. All right, we're gonna go down the list, and I'm gonna start with the middle. So we'll start with uh, let's start with Jalen. Jalen, you got anything? Questions, comments?
Let me see. Peace, family.
Peace.
I had this was a really good class. I kind of just been sitting here internalizing like my experience with like the chakras and unlocking them. And it's interesting, like the heart chakra, like you've been saying, like it's about your connection with people and nature and like kind of being in my heart chakra or like kind of learning about it and becoming aware of it is it's kind of like an experience kind of figuring it out how to balance it. So like when you were talking about just the ways you can tell if you have an overactive heart chakra, that really spoke to me a lot. So I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, we all got work to do, so that's what this is about. In order for us to begin the work, we first have to recognize what work needs to be done. So, this whole series is just calling attention to that which needs to be balanced, or that is, that which is already balanced. So, either we need to work on it or we don't. But, this is calling attention to either way, if we do have to work on it or we don't. But, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you, joining the call and being here. Keela,
Yes. Sorry, can y'all hear me?
peace. Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Peace to everybody. Um, I love this topic tonight. I think everything happens for a reason, always, anyways. But lately I don't know, I've been feeling a lot of ways, and I think you guys can tell just from my absence. But in learning about the overactiveness and the underactiveness and things like that, I really related to it. I've always been interested in the chakras. Like, I've been looking into them a lot lately, so that's why a lot of the conversation is just super intriguing to me anyways, because I know exactly what we're talking about. But I don't know all at the same time, and I'm really like grateful to be here and get the experience to go with the knowledge that I've been seeking on my own, and I also have instructors and family like you guys to help guide me. But one of the things I thought was the most interesting was I'm a very shy person, but I'm not. And all at the same time, you could tell that just because I don't normally look people in the eyes. I feel uncomfortable when people look me in my eyes because I know that my eyes show a lot of my emotion. And I'm very empathic. So if you start talking to me and we connect, or even if we don't, I can just feel what you're feeling. And I hate that about myself. Like, I don't even hug people. Like, that's really rare because I feel like a hug is very, very special. So if I get emotional and people offer me a hug, I'll decline because it'll make me more emotional because I feel really, really intensely. So I don't like contact. I get uncomfortable, like, when people touch me. I get offended when they touch me without my permission because it's like I feel too much. So I think this is interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely glad you were here. Glad you were able to join. And I've seen and witnessed major growth just since you first walked in the dojo until where you are now. And you've definitely grown leaps and bounds. And with that being said, a lot of these attributes that we claim, like you know shy or whatever like that, is really only a choice. And so I welcome you or implore you to connect with the heart chakra as well as the solar plexus chakra. And um you know in that's where the work uh needs to be done for you, as far as the balance is concerned. And you have a team, you have a family, you have a network that is definitely here to help you. I'm always on your back. And I'm not gonna let up on you, because we
I
only want to
appreciate it.
see. Oh yeah, yeah, you already know. We only want to see who we already know you to be, but you just don't know you to be that. And so it's our job as instructors to bring that out of you. So, we're just the rake that tills the soil, and you are the soil. So, we want to see you grow and blossom. And that's what this whole journey is all about. So, definitely.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Uh, Kim, if you can't talk, Kemet will be next. Kemet, you there? If Kemet can't speak, then Lovely is next.
I see Kemet popped up, but we still can't hear you yet.
Yeah, it looks like you're on mute, Kemet. There you go. I unmuted you if you speaking. All right, there you go. I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you and see you.
Okay. So I appreciated what you just said about Shy or what Keela kind of chimed in on, because I felt like I was moving myself through excuse me, um whatever, whatever, just my life of choosing shyness, and how, I guess putting intention on choosing something else, kind of, putting myself more in a space to do more for others. But I really appreciated class today, and yeah, so much of it I was taking some notes. It made me think about this one time I got a reading, and this woman was just telling me all different types of stuff, and at some point I just stopped, and I had to ask her a question, and I said, well, what is it going to take to get into, that part of me, the part that I know is there, but like, how do I activate, what I know myself to be? And she said, Kimmy, it is, of course, when you go into your breathing. She said it's when you get into your breathing, and it's when you get into your meditation. And she explained that meditation can be anything. And like, I recall maybe the first day that I was in class, and you broke down the meaning of meditation, and it kind of clicked a little deeper then, like, oh, because I felt still kind of confused at what meditation was. In the beginning, I really appreciated you mentioning the lotus, because it just put that visual back in my head, and I just hadn't been thinking about the lotus. And it was just something that just sunk in deep, like, yeah. And I remember saying earlier today that I feel like sometimes I be real murky in my water, and I related it to like putting out a flame, because I would be so murky in my water. And so to see that visual, like, dang, the lotus bloom from the muddy water, and the flowers still be on top. It was just, I really appreciated that. And then, so it clicked even further when you all were talking about, being silent, being so silent that, you have to listen to what seems to be inaudible, and it showed me kind of like, a visual of the blueprint of, I guess, enlightenment, so you would say, where you have to, challenge yourself to elevate to each new phase of awareness, to get deeper into your stillness and deeper into your meditation, so you can activate further. And it was, when y'all was talking, when you was talking about that, I was just like, dang, that is it. I was feeling inspired, even though it's very challenging, because I feel like, if anything, that lady told me that so many years ago, but I've always had to deal, like, those are really challenging spaces to sit into your breathing and really go into it, or to dive deeper into your meditation. But like, seeing the visual of, the meaning of it all, it kind of inspires me to, think deeper into it. And that's just been my intent lately. How can I get deeper into loving myself, doing all the different things throughout the day that I know I want to do, and staying true to my meditation, just always taking it deeper and being easier. And I also had to say that So some weeks ago, I was checking in with my chakras, and I remember noting that my solar plexus was a little low spinning. So I feel like for the last 2 weeks, I've been putting more energy into the solar plexus, right? But yesterday I checked, and I noticed that the root in the sacral was spinning lower, and the sacral, in the solar plexus had a bigger spin, and the rest up top had a bigger spin. But I really connected, I guess, the relationship, or what did you say? I really like that word you said, interlocking, how they're all interlocked, or the balance. And I thought it was interesting that I noted that at the transition of the heart, because at the heart it was still a nice spin, but it was like whatever ego vibes I could have been in, trying to only focus on one chakra. I feel like it unbalanced the ones beneath it. So it kind of got me thinking today. One thing that I knew I wanted to share was just how you can't really separate them. If you separate them, you only taking the balance from the other ones, and just how to relate to them all as one essence, or as one flowing river, opposed to, oh, well, I got to work on this one because this one was off. Yes, note the awareness of whatever this one is, but still having a gentle, procedure to check in with all of them, so you ain't over in the area that's under and somewhere else. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be reminded so much, putting different puzzle pieces in place at this time in my life to just be better. And I see the path. I see the tools more vividly now. Like it's just all like, okay, you've been knowing, but now you know it even deeper. And I just feel more challenged. Like, okay, I'm about to get it. So thank y'all for listening. That's all.
That was an excellent reflection, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but all of the instructors have seen and commented amongst ourselves about how much you've grown, and you've been elevating since you first stepped into the space too. So that's just an ode to all of the work that you've been doing. Never feel that it's in vain or that it's not paying off, because it has really paid off, and it's really been paying big dividends. So thank you for being who you are. Thank you for doing the work, and thank you for trusting us as your instructors to follow the path that has been laid before us, and the path that we're walking, and the path that we're clearing out for you guys all to walk as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Lovely with Nishani on deck.
All right, y'all. I ain't no super fancy impromptu speaker, but this one right here, right, makes me think about COVID, what we in right now. Instructor, you were saying about meridian lines and how the heart runs. These lines run underarm, through your arm, into your fingertips. We are so disconnected right now that this center in everybody in the universe is so disconnected. It is so harsh right now. Like we're not supposed to hug each other. It's messing with what is it? Your lungs, your respiratory system, your circulatory system. Everything is being touched right now through COVID, through this chakra. And that is disheartening. You can't love your family, your relatives right now. And everybody is connected to, like y'all said earlier, social media, a computer, a tablet, a video game. You are disconnected. Your heart is still being away. There is love there. So I am really hoping, and I appreciate everything that's being put in the air and on the floor with this. And I hope the frequency from us and the shift in the universe reaches other people so this one can just open back up because we're being deadened right now. We are being silenced right now. And it is we gotta go back. We gotta get back in some way. I know it starts right here with us, like minded individuals. We are nothing but love. And so this was great tonight. And I hope I'm telling you, I'm hoping that when a solstice, these planets touching and loving and kissing each other, it's gonna rub off on everybody else and everything else and bring us back together. And that's all I got, y'all.
That was a very, very great reflection, and it's actually funny that you say that, and not funny as in humorous, but funny as in coincidental, because I was just talking to one of my friends yesterday, and we were talking about the whole COVID thing, and I was telling him that I had at least two people that was very close to me that I lost, due to COVID, and one was a green belt in the dojo, and we couldn't even go see him in the hospital. We couldn't go to his funeral, or neither funeral, because it was like early on, so it was just like this person was in the hospital, they had COVID and they died, and that was it. Like, you couldn't even be related in somebody's most time of need. And then, like you said, like you can't go to a gathering of people, because it's, technically illegal, and to a certain extent. So it's like, they making being related and, gathering illegal. So it's like, it's totally attacking the heart chakra and keeping you in locked in the lower chakras, because it's about, the root chakra, Muladhara, is about survival. So it's like, everybody is just trying to survive, as far as money and life, so it's like definitely blocking that bridge to the upper chakras and keeping you locked into the lower chakras. But thank you. We definitely appreciate you. Nishani?
Yeah, lovely. I couldn't, like, even as you were talking about it, the last time I went home was in 2019, January, and that was like 2 weeks before I went to say goodbye to my grandma. And literally after I came back, she passed, and then my dog died, and I haven't still been able to go home because of COVID. I, I mean, I could, I just won't be able to come back for a very long time because there's harsh restrictions there. So it's been very disconnected. Like my entire family is back home, and I haven't still experienced the loss of my grandmother and my dog. I'm still like here, so I feel like they're still alive. And I think about the heart chakra, and I think about connecting with people here. I found very different soul tribes. Like I've found people here that I've connected to on a very different level than my parents and my brother and family there. And so I really like that you said that, because yeah, you're right. There's a lot of people who come to our clinic crying because they don't want to talk on the phone anymore, and they want to see someone face to face. They don't want me to keep the mask on because they don't feel like they can see my expression. And it's really hard. Like I had back-to-back sessions today, and it's just bringing back how much pain people are in and how disconnected even the face, like, because the eyes, yes, there's so much expression in the eyes, but it's so different. Like they they're they want they want me to shake their hand and touch their elbow. Like there's always something. So I definitely relate to that. And thank you very much for the lesson again. Of course, I really appreciate this, and I appreciate having met you guys. I think about it all the time. Never a day that I have not learned something new. Um, it is really inherited in the way I was raised to always think about other people. Like thinking about yourself didn't even exist. Like, what? What you mean you want to take care of you? Like that doesn't exist in our culture. We're a collectivistic culture. We're not an individualistic culture, which is something I learned when I came to the States. And it's difficult to try to translate that back home. So I find myself fighting for my brother who's there with my parents, and my mom's like, no. She's also a Pisces, so it's really difficult talking to her sometimes. We don't. But she was always like, what do you mean? And I'm trying to teach my brother what I'm learning here and trying to get him to kind of understand it's okay for him to take care of himself, because that's what I did. I left for selfish reasons, to want to get away from it, to try to do something different, to try to be something other than what I was told that I should be. So my brother is still there, and he feels like he's compelled and he's responsible.
She cut out. Her battery probably died. So until she comes back, I know Rada, you say you'll be just listening. So Rafa,
She went over her cussing limit.
right? Yeah, I was about to get her if you did. Rafa,
Yeah. A lot has been said already, and all of that stuff has been deep, very deep. It's to my belief that, and it all makes sense as to why you intentionally spoke on this chakra and the previous one individually, and not doing two like we had started, because of how important they are. This is the difference between living in heaven or living in hell. With these two chakras that we have just spoken on, this one and the one previous, it's deep. Like I'm still trying to grasp I'm processing all of what has been said, and it's just amazing. One, how you articulate all this stuff, like I don't know, like it feels as though our teachers in school or just in life in general would have exposed us to this stuff. And I'm about to be 32 at midnight and have never had these conversations ever in my life, ever. But I got a bachelor's degree and never talked about any of this stuff. And now I'm seeing how backwards, society has been taught, and how we have been living, because we have just never had these conversations, have never had the training or experiences that we're having now, just on a Tuesday. Not along, adding the experiences that we have in the physical space. Like, it's just amazing. But yeah, I'm still processing all of this stuff, but it is very important that we, as a collective, figure out what the heart is about, because it is the difference of us living like you say, above in those higher vibrations, or in the lower vibrations, or as I say, living in hell is the difference between living in heaven or hell. So that's it. I'm just still processing all of this.
yeah, well, we definitely thank you for bringing in your birthday with us. As they say, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, so we definitely appreciate that, and appreciate you being here in general. Like, just the level of commitment that you bring is, unparalleled. So we definitely appreciate everything, that you are. And yeah, and I share those same sentiments. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering, and like I learned way more outside of school than I did learn at anybody's university or anybody's classroom. So it's like, I like literally, I would say probably 10 hours a day is dedicated to studying, but is really only catching up, because it's like I feel like I wasted so much time, studying nonsense in school, that it's like, I'm behind the eight ball. So I got to spend 10 hours a day just to get to where I need to be. So I definitely feel and understand that. Thank you. Who's next? Salama, next. Salama, you there? Salama?
Yeah, pardon me, you guys. I just walked in. Um, I just another week and another chakra. Um, I guess what really is fascinating. There's tons of things, obviously, that are fascinating about this conversation, but about the heart chakra for me, that's um, it's simple, but it's still fascinating that the heart, even though it does all this, everything it does is about growth, you know, and the color being green is so simple to that. And I feel like with my heart chakra, that's been, whenever I've gotten things done, that's been definitely a very, um, a point that they always key in on. So this conversation in itself has given me a lot to work with. I feel like everything we had a conversation about, I've experienced. I mean, everything we talked about tonight, I've experienced to some aspect or another when it comes to the heart chakra. So it's just a lot to digest tonight.
Oh yeah, I get it. And just to veggie back off of what Rafa said, I was like, it's no way I can do two in one day. Like it's just too much. It's like even this is still the basics. Like, it's not like any in-depth thing. It's kind of like, all just scratching the surface just to bring awareness. So it's like, I wouldn't want to over inundate anybody with too much at once. So I just been kind of keeping it to one instead of two, just because it is so much.
Well, it's great. It's a great level. And this heart definitely needed a space of its own.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Teresa,
Peace, family.
peace.
Um, this is a lot that you taught today, and I learned a lot. I'm appreciative of it. Um, I was thinking about the part where you said the the flower, the root grows in the mud, but it's not tainted by the mud, and I can I can kind of relate that to uh, a time in my life when I was kind of muddy. And right now I feel like I am the lotus, and I'm expounding and learning and exhibiting some of those qualities of the heart. Um, and throughout my life, I see where when my I guess when it was closed, that I prevented myself from experiencing having good experiences that would have been associated with it had my heart been open. But I do get to experience those things now, and I'm still in a growing stage, learning stage, practice. I'm not perfect. Um, I'm not striving to be perfect, just to be, and to be a good person for other people, around other people. maybe as a guide or something of that sort. But thank you. That's it.
Sweet. Thank you. We definitely
Mhm.
appreciate you joining us. Um, and, I'm appreciative of the words that you said, because it also reminds me that, we are the lotus because, you know, being in Detroit, like we couldn't be in any deeper mud, you know. It's like, we surrounded by that which we consider as evil and, absent of love, but yet and still we're on the path of enlightenment. We're on the path of, opening the chakras or, balancing the chakras, should I say. So, for us to be on this path in the muddiest of places that you can find, you know, is to me a further testament to who and what we truly are. And it's amazing. So thank you. Terry,
Peace. Can y'all hear me?
peace. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna say much. I just been enjoying everything from this lesson. I've missed the call last week, so it's great to not only get a refresher, but just hear these great lessons that we can apply to our everyday life. Finding that balance within ourselves when it comes to the self-care versus, overextending ourselves to, whether it's our loved ones or our job or our careers. It was definitely a great reminder tonight to remember that balance and to have that harmony with self and, the things that bring you closer to the universe or to the path that you want to be on. That's all I have.
Sweet. Yeah, we definitely missed you, and I'm glad that you are here. We often talk about that. We are a group, we are a unit, we are a collective. So, when one piece of that collective is absent, then we are as a group not whole and complete. So I definitely appreciate you being here and just know that you were missed and I'm glad that you're back.
I'm glad to be back, and thank you, and I appreciate the support and the continued stand on my back. So
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
we got you. Kayla, no man left behind, or no man or woman left behind. Um, Minister Freedom.
Peace, bro. Peace, family, man. I just been kind of doing the knowledge. I really enjoyed this class as well as I really been enjoying. I enjoyed all of the classes. I've officially gone through all of my videos, so I'm pretty much caught up. But I really like these chakra ones because I've been very familiar with just the chakra system, but just a lot of the understanding that you give, bro, is very insightful. One thing for me that I take because I think sometimes what I tend to always overlook is just the whole science of how the chakras can be overactive, how they can be overly open, and just finding and it's just helping me to further find my kind of my middle point and my balance point so that I can be as well rounded and as balanced with all the things that I deal with. So I know I personally know what my little blockage is, and it's been great getting these refreshers and staying helping me and help us stay sharp so that we can really be abreast of the different things that we're dealing with on an everyday basis, man. So it's really been a pleasure. I appreciate it too, man. Thank you, instructor.
Thank you. Yeah, you've been teaching me for years, so definitely feel honored to return the favor. So thank you. I appreciate
Oh man, no problem, bro.
you. Emerson.
Hey, peace, y'all. Peace. I appreciate the lesson tonight. We put a lot into perspective as far as really just attributing the lessons to myself, and as far as like hearing everybody else stories, it really lets you know that you a part of something special, and it leads you to validate. Hearing, by validating other stories and everything, it kind of makes you even look at your own journey and appreciate your own, your own journey, just to even be a part of the group. And being in the finance realm, you kind of just always worried about, what was missed. Like, oh man, this stock raised, I missed this, or like, what could I do to make more money, or what can I do to put myself here or there? And it kind of takes your mind away from the present and loving your own journey, what you going through. A lot of times I kind of find myself kind of looking at my own path from the outside in. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm almost like watching it like a TV show instead of actually being in the experience and actually appreciating the things around me. So just a lot to digest. I'm working on that for sure. And yeah, these last 2 weeks is definitely hitting hard for sure.
Sweet. I'm glad you got a lot out of it, and definitely stay on the path because you are very advanced for your age and your physical age. So you're definitely on the right track. Just keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you. CJ.
Hit Aaron, instructor.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, Aaron.
Peace, family. Thanks for the lesson tonight. I have personally experienced the blocked and overactive heart chakra, not knowing it was a heart chakra being blocked or overactive, and to instructor Nate's point to the point of feeling like you're dying inside. So it's been intentional about balancing them out, and yeah, just balancing them out, being intentional about balancing them out. And COVID has actually given me the opportunity to focus on self instead of focusing on everybody else. I guess it's a blessing and a curse because it gave everybody pretty much the opportunity to self-reflect. So yeah, so it's a constant and a constant point of being intentional to balance it out.
Yeah,
I was
trust me.
telling that I wish I had the dojo in my life some time ago.
Yeah, everything happens in due time. So you got us now. So maybe the lesson was that you might have not appreciated it as much back then had we came into your life sooner. So, everything is in divine order. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. So, now that you went through whatever you went through without us, now you can be that much stronger and more powerful with us. And you never have to, go through those things alone again because you have us. So, and we'll always be here for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, now, CJ.
Peace and love, family. I'm just overly grateful and feel overly blessed to be part of such a powerful group and to have had this be part of my journey. Like, I feel like I know a lot of us have like that same feeling before like we got here of you wonder like it can't just be me. Like I know that something is off, I know that something is different, like that whole black sheep of the family type thing, or that whole like I just see things differently or feel a little bit differently, it seems like, than most people. Like, what's up with that type thing? And then we get in spaces like this and people share, and it's just this feeling of home and this feeling of connection, and just I'm really overwhelmed with like gratitude right now for that, and for you guys. And today's lesson, I definitely appreciate for sure. I learned a lot, especially with how much balancing is involved in the heart chakra, how like at the heart and core of it, it's about balance. And it also brought to mind for me how like who we are shows up on the floor. Because I would say that I was one of those people previously who my heart chakra tends to be too open before, and then it shows up in Kumite like, oh, I'm sorry that I hit you. Oh, I don't want to place any attention behind that because I don't want to hurt nobody. Or, even it being the other way, there being so much concern for self that you can't get out of your head or can't get away from your ego enough to actually obey the fight. And so that came up for me today, in the lesson. But I'm just grateful for you all, and definitely grateful for our instructors and everything that you guys put into these lessons.
Sweet. Yeah, we're grateful for you as well. Your physical presence is truly missed, and we'll definitely be glad when you can, join us physically. But in the meantime, this is a great substitute, until you can get back, because your presence and input is always appreciated and insightful. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Instructor Nate.
Peace and love, family. Let's see. I've got a couple things here for you before we all go, and one of them would be going back to what a lot of you all, the students, have been saying about, the chakras and meditations. And the chakras, or energy centers, are stars in our internal universe that are part of our individuality on this course plane of existence that we all embark upon together. And meditation is how we find, these stars or these points within us. And it's how you find every star in the rainbow. Because if you think about them, they all have their different color. So they all have their own different message, their own different light to share with us. And if you think about it, color is light. It's just a different spectrum of light being reflected. And then speaking to that, I want to give you all a tool. To each chakra, there is actually a crystal or a stone, if you will, a mineral. And the first one, the root chakra, is carnelian. And then the sacral chakra is amber resin, which is like, basically fossilized sap from a tree. And then the third one would be tiger's eye for the solar plex chakra. And then the heart chakra, it's the green stone, it's the imperial stone. And each one of these stones resonates on a different frequency, and they all reflect that same point of light. So in that meditation, you can actually lay down and place the stone upon like each different energy center. It'll help you get in tune with that frequency, if you will, so you can learn exactly what you need to about it. It'll tell you exactly how to balance it out whichever way you need to, because everything you've ever gotten is within you. Everything you've ever needed is within you already. So all that information, everything is there, and you can find it through that meditation. And if you're sitting up in that meditation, just hold that stone in the palm of your hands, make sure both hands are together, and put it at the level of the chakra. That way you can receive a different message, because every different application of meditation, you get something different from it. And actually, the ancients were really smart. They used to use these crystals and these stones to actually get themselves in tune with these frequencies. And then once they did, they were able to just go there. Like, they didn't need them anymore. Like, they knew it was a part of them, so they could leave it behind and then move to the next one. But a lot of people suspect now that, like, a lot of the first civilization, they were more focused on the chakras and the temple within, as opposed to, like, building pyramids. Like, that's what came after.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's only right that you will be the one to introduce us to the stones. So, yeah, I appreciate that information. And if you send me that, I can share it with everybody else, or you could put it in the chat. It's up to you. But we definitely appreciate it.
sounds good. I'll
Hey,
probably
Chuck,
see
what's the
somebody else. And also like all these different stones, if you Google the metaphysical properties, they all have different metaphysical properties as well. And any crystal of that color usually will match up with that particular energy center or chakra, if you will, of that particular color.
Excellent. Thank you. We appreciate you. Instructor Ghost.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. I'll just share my my personal experience with the heart chakra, which is I go into a meditation at I've discovered that my window for meditation is 3:30 a.m. So, and I've only shared this with a couple of people, the other instructors or what have you, but I listen to the frequency as I'm meditating, which is 639. And in my meditation, what happens is, and it's been over a long period of time, but what happens is when I fully connect in my meditation, I can feel the the chakra spinning in my chest, and it feels like a hunger. It's like you know when you have a hunger pain and it growls. It's that feeling or sensation, but it's in my chest, right? And in that same experience, what happens is my arms go numb, and I never really could put the two together. But the reason that it's real is because the heart meridian is in the arms. So I would sometimes have to come out of it and just kind of shake my arms because my arms are numb and it's all connected. So I'm just bringing that up to say that it is real. It is real. And I would challenge you to, you know, go after that frequency. You know, and those are some of the signs that you're fully connected. So I just wanted to just really share that phenomena of the heart chakra. That's all I have.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very, very powerful. So we all attain or hope to attain to that level of connectedness
Oh,
in our
stop it,
meditation.
bro.
Instructor Aku.
That's a hard act to follow. No, man, just thank you, brother, instructor Northleg, for really aiding with utility in the awareness. And it's been said a couple times already, but it's a huge kudos and compliment to the work that you put in to bring this information to us and make it usable. You know, we're blessed to really be in a super rich environment with spiritual matters and metaphysical focus. But the vast majority of the world, this is like fairy tale talk. And to be so far away from fairy tale talk and to actively be in utilization is just truly powerful. And I know that we're still just scratching the surface, but with the energy at play in our solar system and the on purpose effort of will and intention and the collective uh, being at play, we are going to in the next year or two really move into some beyond belief, beyond believable manifestation. So just thankful, man, and really appreciate, like I say, adding utility to this awareness. So thank you, brother, for your toil and your dedication, man. It's appreciated, and thank you, sir, and thank you everybody else for continuing to tune in and put it in play because we are definitely pushing one another, holding one another up, and supporting us as a collective. So just honored and privileged to be a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely appreciate it. And I'm glad that you made that recognition and that connection to utility. And that came because from schooling I recognize, like, because I am an electrical engineer by trade or whatever, like that's what my degree is in, that's what my work experience is in, but, it's heavily math and science oriented. And, a lot of us, we say, I'm not good at math. Well, it's not that you aren't good at math, you just don't have any useful application for math. So it's not interesting to you. So it's like you can see in the economics class how supply and demand relates to one another. If you have a high supply of something and a low demand, then that's not good. So you have a high supply, high in demand, then you need that. So but people can't relate to y equals mx plus b. Like that just don't, that's like Japanese. And so to me, the utility is the most important thing for learning anything. And so that's, you know, why I do my best to make it tangible and graspable, and you can actually see it in real life, in real time, not in the moon and the stars and in the clouds, but actually this is what it looks like in real life, in reality. So thank you, I appreciate you. Instructor said, can you talk, you got anything?
Not much. Boy, y'all did it big today. Y'all did it real big. Everyone on the call. So I appreciate everyone for that. The only thing I have is that just to honor everyone, to say a general rule I have, a saying I got from a guy. He said, always work harder on yourself than you do at your job. So I commend everyone on this call for walking that walk. Being on this call itself is working on yourself. Coming to the dojo is working on you. And I know it takes a lot, especially with the climate going on. You working, you got lives, you got everything going on in your life, and you are working and developing yourself. And like I always say, that in itself is raising the vibration of the planet just by working on you. So again, I commend everyone on the call. Appreciate everyone who is giving their heart and soul on the floor as well. So hey, that's all I got. Great call today.
Oh yeah, thank you, and thank you for being here even in the midst of work and all that you got going on. That's a big sacrifice and commitment, so definitely appreciate you. And speaking of raising the vibration, we actually had a mass meditation yesterday in which, us people in the dojo, as well as people all over the globe, meditated collectively. So, I haven't checked the frequency yet to see, how much we raised the frequency yesterday, but they actually measure the resonance of Earth real time every day. Like you can go check and see. And, every time that is some type of mass meditation, the frequency of Earth raises. So I'm just interested to see how high we raised it. But I know we raised it yesterday because I felt it, and I know everybody who was on the call yesterday, they felt it as well, felt the connection and the raising of the frequency, along with the conjunction of the two planets. So uh, definitely major work going on frequency wise, and energetically. So yeah, appreciate that input. And I personally don't have anything else. So if nobody else has any questions or comments, we can adjourn. And I see you all